Here's an opportunity to get on your soapbox. What's like one thing that everyone gets wrong about television writing, especially as a Nigerian screen television writer? What is something you hear online in real life and it make you cringe and you're like, they don't know how, man, if I had a lifetime to educate them.
It's the funniest thing. So most people think that the shows are written as they watch, like an episode are screened today, and then tomorrow we'll go take your feedback and write the next episode. No, like sometimes the writing has been done like months before. And it's not like, I don't know about other places, but sometimes the writing has been done like weeks or months before. And so sometimes the ending it's already been made, like it's been
Right.
produced. So people would give you a lot of tongue lashing, a lot of they would find, we used to be mildly bullied on Twitter because they would go find your handles, especially if you wrote the episode, and they would be like, especially when they like a character and the character dies, like you will have no peace of mind for weeks.
Yeah.
They actually genuinely believe that their reaction to the show influences things. And sometimes, their conversations, if you're lucky enough that the show is still shooting, sometimes it does affect how the show goes. But it very rarely happens. So yeah, that's one misconception that people have about TV that's really interesting. Yeah.
That sounds like in Hollywood as well. I don't know if you watched the Issa Rae show Insecure. Um,
Yeah, I did. I did. I did. I
and
liked that show.
yeah, one of my absolute favorites was blessed to even work on it. For anyone who's new to the show, I was blessed to work on the final season as a production assistant.
Nice.
Thanks
Nice.
so much. Asante Sana, as they say here in Swahili land. Um, and I remember Twitter fingers. Twitter finger. I usually didn't have really that much to say because I wasn't that good. I'm a little bit better at some of that engagement stuff now. But yeah, Insecure, I remember was a show similar to you. They'd be, at Issa, at this character, at this writer, at this person, because they're like, why did Issa do that? And oh my gosh, and just so much back and forth. People they get very much invested. They get
Yeah.
so
I think
invested.
TV fans are so intense. And once you learn how to take backlash when you work on TV shows, I think you can go through anything in life because they can be so intense when they like the stories and the characters. And it's kind of cool. It can be very weird, but it can also be really cool at times. I really enjoyed that part of things. Yeah.
How do you manage the backlash, in fact? How do you deal with that so you can focus?
To be honest, it's not really in bad faith. It can be intense, but I never really felt like attacked personally. And honestly, it's just work. And sometimes, like I said, you're done with the work like months ago. So it's just like
Right?
we'd come on our group and we'd laugh about it. Like people would be spiraling because and it was so funny because we literally couldn't do anything about it. So it was fun. Sometimes it did get a bit like almost like bullying. Some people could be a bit extreme, but nah, I don't think it ever, crossed that line into, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Nah. Also, Nigerians are really busy people, so it's not that deep. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Y'all on to the next one. Respect.
Yeah, on to the next one. There's like next week they're fighting somebody else over something else. So yeah.
Nice, nice. So, what inspired you to become a screenwriter, and what's the path like, if any, for a screenwriter in Nigeria? In fact, in your experience, better yet, your city.
Okay, in my experience, first of all, what inspired me, I think my dad worked in the media. So from a very early age, I was already kind of like exposed to content. Um, he was like producer for a bunch of shows. He worked for this um, television network. It's like federal owned, like it was owned by the government. So
Gotcha.
back
Okay.
then in the 2000s and early to mid 2000s, they did like a lot of shows. So he produced like a bunch of those shows. So I think from an early age, it was normal for me to be around certain things. Um, So I've always been interested in TV. I knew I was going to work in media from like a very early age. I just didn't think I was going to be a writer. I thought I was going to be an actor.
Yeah, hey, the
And
face of the production. I get it. Didn't I thought I'd
that
be
did
one
not
too.
happen, obviously. Obviously. But yeah, by the time I got to uni, I was horrible at it. I'm a horrible actor. I had no stage presence whatsoever. Thankfully, I was a really good writer. So, and I've always loved TV shows. I mean, I think one of my core memories is watching like soap operas and stuff on Mnet series with my parents, my siblings. You know, it was such a big part of my life. TV has always been such a big part of my life. So like I said, I fell in love with that world, with creating stories. I knew that I wanted to be part of that, but it would be several more years down the line before I realized that, oh, I was going to be a writer. So yeah, I think I've always been in love with the world of make believe and media. Um, the other question that you asked was, how does one become a writer?
Yeah. Or what was
In,
that like for you?
for me, I think I had a bit of a very unusual journey. My journey into writing is not. I think I would say I'm a bit luckier than most people. I kind of transitioned into the industry in an easier way. Um, I went to film school, and then I got my first job right out of film school. I was hired by one of my instructors. So, in that sense, I was really lucky. A lot of people, it takes them years to break into the industry, but I was hired right out of film school. So, in a sense, I think I'm luckier than most people. But I would say it's good to, if for instance you want to be a TV writer, um, because that is the system that I'm most familiar with. A great way to start would be to find the writers who have worked on really great shows that you like. You need to be watching those shows so you know the shows. Find out who the head writers are. Send them a message. People are always looking for great writers. People are always, looking to staff rooms. So, introduce yourself, maybe send them a sample. You never know. You might get lucky. It might be that they're looking, reach out to people, reach out to young filmmakers like me who are doing stuff and be like, oh, I have this script. Would you be interested? Anything can happen. You never know. So yeah, that's how I would suggest. But for me, my journey was kind of different. But yeah.
No, that's good because well, yeah, everyone's journey, you're right, is different. Some people are born into it. That's something I used to like to ask people about, like, hey, do you come from a family of artists or a family of, whatever? Some people, the answer was yes. Some was like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm the only one, just, and you make your own way. I think that's great about school or any type of outfit that gets you closer. I was talking to a coaching client, in fact, just about that, about finding work in Maryland, where I'm originally from, the state of Maryland,
Oh, okay.
and just trying to find Steph. And she's since graduated from university and dabbled in the film department, but majored in something else. But she still gets emails and things about opportunities for the film students there. And so that's cool, when it comes to education, higher education, or things, and just any type of hub that can get you closer. Like you said, if I heard you right, a professor or someone you were linked with in university was able to help you along. That's like mentorship
Actually,
in its own way. Yes, go
yeah, it
ahead.
wasn't a professor. Sorry. It wasn't a professor. So my film school would sometimes hire industry professionals, to come
Nice.
in
That's excellent.
classes. And my first head writer was one of those professionals. And that was how, I met him. And yeah, and also the producer of the show was, one of the professionals. So he introduced me to the head writer, and that was how I forgot my first job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so there you go, of just being close to, even if it was one person, like you said, you're like, if you're able to find the person online, how, these days, you're being findable online. You might be on Threads, Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah, people
whatever.
on social media, they're more accessible.
They're
And
more
most of them have
accessible.
found that they're very, kind, they're willing to talk to you. So shoot your shot, anything can
Exactly.
happen.
So that's great. That would be, so if you heard it here, whether you're in Hollywood, whether you're in Nollywood, wherever, be findable and shoot your shot, be open, take your time, don't, stalk people and bum rush nobody or anything like that. Be
Yeah,
professional and
be professional.
look at how you can um assist them as well. What was is there any highlight you'd like to share, like from that time when you got that opportunity out of university?
Out of film school, I had already gone to university. So I got
Okay.
a scholarship to go to film school here in Nigeria. So it's a film school that is owned by, I don't know if you know anything about Multichoice Nigeria.
I
It's
keep
kind of,
hearing I keep hearing about them. I saw them they're in South Africa. I didn't know that, but I guess they're all
yeah, so
over the continent. So
yeah,
thank you for being the next one you're like the third person I've interviewed who's
that
mentioned
meant,
multi-choice. So I'm learning. I'm getting an education. I love it.
so for the longest time, they were like, they owned DSTV, which is like a cable company. They were like they're some of the biggest employers of, sorry, they're some of the, how to put this, they put so much money into generating content for so many years, right? And at some point, a lot of the industry has had something to do with multi-choice on some level. Multi-choice Nigeria is actually a subset of multi-choice South Africa. Um, so you have all those contents from Mnet, and so they have like a bunch of channels that focus on making local content, like African Magic Igbo, African Magic Showcase. So they had a film school. They decided to invest in this initiative to train the next generation of filmmakers. It was kind of what's that thing, like a social, there's a name for it, like those projects that you do to give back to the community. I forget, there's a name for it, CSO or something.
Okay.
There's a word for it, like where you invest into the community. So they set up those film schools in certain parts of Africa. So there was one in West Africa, which was the Nigerian one, and there's one in Southern Africa, and I think there was one in Eastern Africa.
Nice.
So I was in the first class and the inaugural class of the Western African Film School. So there were 20 of us. So it was a year fully funded of film school. The curriculum was, almost on par with what you would get in any other film school in the world. It was that great. So yeah, um, I had this incredible year of learning and meeting people that it would have taken me years to meet in the industry. And I do believe that it catapulted my career. I went from this clueless 21-year-old from Enugu that didn't know anything, from this small town, and all of a sudden I was working in the Nigerian film industry, and it was wonderful. So yeah, so that was film school. That was what film school did for me, and that was where I got to meet people that gave me opportunity for the first time in my life.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. More stuff like that is popping up all over the world, all over the place, all the time. I'm reminded, like, even from a grip and gaff and cinematography standpoint, I recently interviewed Justin Davis, who's an award-winning cinematographer, and Israel Ajayi. They are both.
Mm.
Justin was an instructor in. I hope I say it right again. Uh, Lagos Lighting Masterclass.
Okay.
Um, and it started there, as I understand it, and then has been in, I think, Kenya, Abuja, maybe South Africa. Like, just it's just gone over to different countries. People from the West, I think, primarily from Hollywood, in fact, coming for, I guess, a few days or even several weeks. A kind of boot camp structure of just,
Ooh.
hey, here's what we learned in film as well. We're here to share it with you that it may serve your respective film industry. So it's different from yours because it was cinematography based. But Israel, he was telling me like, oh my gosh, I learned so much. I met so many people.
It's
It's just
incredible.
everything you were saying.
Yeah,
Just
you
everything.
soak up all this, you experience from people who have done this thing for years. And it was 1 year, but my life changed in 1 year. I don't know anyone that I started off in the industry with that probably got the advantage that I got just for by going to that film school for a year. So it was really wonderful. It did a lot for my life, and I think I'll always be grateful for that. I like to say that MTF gave me wings, you know, because
I love that.
yeah, I could have flown at some point, but I think they did give me the wings to fly when I did. Yeah.
I love that so much. Wow.